Hey everyone, I am Manoj Kumar. Today we will discuss law of demand. I have already uploaded one video on this topic and that video is in Hindi. Some of my colleagues advised me to make videos in Hindi as well. But I feel more comfortable in this English language. I speak quite haltingly for anyone to remember and recall. And my idea is to reach to a wider audience, not only being limited to the Hindi speaking belt. And if it is in Hindi, it is out of bound for a good part of our country, for example, South India. So today we will be talking about law of demand. We will see what is demand, what is individual demand, what is market demand. And since we are talking about microeconomics, we are talking about one commodity. We are talking about one commodity, demand of one commodity, not the aggregate demand of macroeconomics. Then we will see what are the determinants of demand, the factors influencing, affecting the demand. Then we will see what is law of demand. We will see what is change in quantity demanded, what is change in demand, and we will also see how and why the demand curve slope is downward. So, what is demand? What is demand? We need to remember that we are talking about one commodity only. So, demand for any commodity, for a commodity, is the quantity demanded by the consumers at a given price and at a given point of time. At a given price and at a given point of time. For example, if it is very hot during summer, then the price of coolers and air conditioners goes up and still people buy it. If the temperature is not scorching, not very high, then the demand for AC and cooler comes down and the same commodity is sold at a lower price. Similarly, during winter, if the temperature has dipped, it is very cold, then woolen clothes are sold at a premium. So, it depends on many different factors. So, when we are talking about the demand of a commodity, what we mean is the quantity demanded by the consumers at a given price and at a given point of time. That is demand for a commodity. So, what is demand? It is quantity demanded by the consumers, quantity demanded by the consumers at a given price and at a given point of time. Right? We had seen through examples. Now, there are individual consumers. Suppose, let us assume that there are 1,000 consumers in the market. Then the demand for any particular product pen, pencil, mobile phones, whatever. There are individual demand for pens or pencils and at a given price and at a given point of time. And when we add up those individual demands of 1000 consumers, what we get is the market demand for that particular commodity. Right? So let us be very clear what is demand, what is individual demand, and what is market demand, that we have seen just now. Right? Now we need to know what are the determinants of demand, the different factors which affect or influence the demand of a commodity. So here we will know about determinants of demand. Number one is price of the commodity. Price of the commodity. Then second one is price of related goods. Price of related goods. We will see after this what is meant by related goods. Third is income of the consumer. Income of the consumer. Then we have taste, preference and fashion. We have taste, preference and fashion. Then we have future expectations. There are others as well. Let us restrict ourselves to these four: price of the commodity, price of related goods, income of the consumer, taste, preference and fashion, and future expectations. Now, price of the commodity is clear. It is obvious. Similarly, income of the consumer is also clear. Then we have taste, preference and fashion, which keeps on changing. Like earlier, we have low waist trousers, fashion of low waist trousers. Now it has changed to high waist trousers. Nowadays, people prefer taking cold drinks from a can instead of the bottles. Earlier, there was more sale of feature phone as compared to a smartphone, but now the preference has changed. And future expectations, if the budget is to come, what about tax going to be increased or decreased? About monsoon, whether it will be flood or drought, or it will be a good monsoon. So there are many different factors which affect the demand for a particular commodity. Right? Now, this price of the commodity, this we call price factor. This we call price factor, and all others factors are known as other factors or shift factors. Other factors or shift factors that we need to remember. Right? Now, what are related goods? That much we have not discussed. So we will see what are related goods. So these related goods are of two types. One is complementary goods. One is complementary goods and another is substitute goods. Another is substitute goods. Complementary goods are those which are used together, like, for example, car and petrol, pen and ink or refill, right? Bread and butter. So, if there is no petrol, car cannot be used. If there is no car, there is no use of petrol. Similarly, pen and refill or ink, they are complementary. One cannot be used without the other. And similarly, bread and butter, right? So, these are complementary goods, and for substitute goods, we have tea or coffee, pen or pencil, petrol or diesel. Petrol or diesel. Now, how does the complementary goods behave? If there is rise in price of the petrol, what happens to the sale of cars? Or if there is decrease in the price of petrol, what happens to the car? If the price of potatoes and onions rises, what happens to samosa? And if the price of refill increases, what happens to pen? So, if there is rise in the price of the petrol, the sale of the car will come down. If there is rise in the price of potato and onion, then the sale of samosa will come down. So, they have negative relationship. They move in opposite direction. One goes up, another comes down. In the case of tea or coffee, there is no change in the price of the coffee. But if there is increase in the price of tea, the demand for coffee will increase. If there is decrease in the price of the tea, the demand for coffee will decrease. So, they both move in the same direction. If one rises, price of the tea rises, demand for coffee also increases. If price of the tea falls, demand for coffee also falls. So, in case of substitute goods, they have positive relationship. And in case of complementary goods, they have negative or inverse relationship. So, if there is change in price of the complementary goods or substitute goods, it also affects the price of the related commodity. Right? As we have seen, if there is change in the price of the petrol, the sale of the cars get affected. If there is increase in the price of the tea, the demand for coffee gets affected. So, this is what is meant by related goods. We have two of them, complementary goods and substitute goods. Right? Now, we have seen what is demand, what is individual demand, what is market demand, what are the determinants of demand, and what are related goods. Now, we have come to a point where we can see what is law of demand and what does it say. So, anyone who is not a student of economics, even he or she knows that the price of the commodity and its demand have inverse relationship, negative relationship. If there is rise in price of the commodity, the quantity demanded of the commodity comes down, and if there is decrease in the price of the commodity, its quantity demanded goes up. Right? So, What does the law of demand state? It states that the price of the commodity and its quantity demanded have inverse relationship, as we have just seen. But there is one condition. Other factors that we have listed just now, while other factors remain constant. Other factors remain constant. If there is change in the price of the commodity and there is also change in the income of the consumer, in that case, there might not be any change in quantity demanded. If there is change in taste preference or fashion of the consumer, then also there may be no effect of change in price of the commodity. As we have seen, nowadays there is a fashion for high waist trousers. If someone decides to sell a low waist trouser at a decreased price, no one is going to buy it. Similarly, for feature phone, its price keeps coming down, but its demand is not going up because the preference of the consumers has changed. Right? If there is change in the price of the coffee along with the tea, then there might not be any effect on the demand for the tea. So, there is change only in price of the commodity while all other factors remain constant. That is the assumption, that is the condition. Right? Now, how do we draw the curve of demand? Since there is inverse relationship, it is obvious that the slope of the demand curve will be downward from left to right. So, if we draw the demand curve, in that case, on x-axis we are showing quantity of the commodity and on y-axis we are showing price of the commodity, and the demand curve will be like this, having a downward slope from left to right. Clear? Now, it is, as I said earlier, it is obvious to anyone who does not know even E of economics that when the price goes up, demand comes down, and when the price comes down, the demand goes up. But as students of economics, we have to find out reasons for this, why it is so, why the demand curve has downward slope, the reasons for the downward slope of the demand curve. There are basically three reasons for that. One is the income effect. What happens is, when there is fall in the price of the commodity, our real income, that is our purchasing power, increases. When there is fall in the price of the commodity, our real income, that is our purchasing power, increases. How? Let us see. Let us assume that our income is rupees 40 and the price of the commodity X is rupees 8 per unit. So in that case, quantity that we can buy will be 5. But when the price of the commodity decreases to rupees 5, the quantity purchased will be 8. So there has been no change in the income of the consumer, there is no change in the budget of the consumer, but with the decrease in the price of the commodity, now the consumer can buy more quantity of that commodity. That is how his real income, that is purchasing power, increases. So this is known as income effect, which comes into play when there is decrease in the price, right? Now just opposite of that, what happens is when that is known as substitution effect. That is known as substitution effect. In this case, there is rise in the price of the commodity. There is rise in the price of the commodity. If there is rise in the price of the commodity, the consumer starts looking for substitute. The consumer starts looking for substitute. For example, let us assume that price of the tea is rupees 5 and price of coffee is rupees 10. Now price of the coffee remains at rupees 10, but there is increase in the price of the tea. It goes up from rupees 5 to rupees 7. It goes up from rupees 5 to 7. There has been increase in the price of the tea. So what happens? In that case, the consumers will think that fine, okay, why should we pay rupees 7 for tea? Let us go for coffee. So there will be decrease in the demand for tea and increase in the demand of coffee. People starts looking for substitute goods. That is how we describe as substitution effect. It happens when there is rise in the price of the commodity, right? So one is income effect, another is substitution effect. The third reason is, we have seen earlier that MUM, marginal utility of money, is equal to marginal utility derived divided by price of the commodity. And what is marginal utility of money? It is marginal utility derived by rupee 1. It has symbolic representative value, meaning thereby that we are looking for value for our money. We are looking for money worth. We are looking for money worth, and this marginal utility of money is constant. Like if we are paying rupees 14 for a samosa with a piece of paneer in it, we think that it is worth paying it. A samosa with a piece of paneer is being sold for rupees 14, whereas a plain samosa is being sold at rupees 10. So we are paying rupees 4 for that samosa with a piece of paneer because we think that we are getting value for our money. Now what happens if there is increase in the price of the commodity? If there is increase in the price of the commodity, it is in denominator, so it has inverse relationship with marginal utility of money. If there is increase in price of the commodity, MUM will fall down, come down, and if there is decrease in the price of the commodity, marginal utility of money will go up. So with increase or decrease in the price of the commodity, there is change in marginal utility of money as well, and that explains why the quantity demanded increases with a fall in price and it decreases with a rise in the price. So these are three different reasons why the slope of the demand curve is downward from left to Right? Now, as we have seen that in law of demand, it states that there is change in the price of the commodity while other factors are constant. Now we will see how it operates in the marketplace when there is change in the price of the commodity and in another instance price of the commodity remains same but there is change in other factors like income of the consumer rises or there is change in price of related goods. So, let us see what happens when there is increase or decrease in the price of the commodity. As we have seen, on x-axis we are showing quantity and on y-axis we are showing price, and this is the demand curve. We are here at A and we come down to B, move from A to B. When we are at A, how do we find the quantity and price? We are aware, we will draw a perpendicular on x-axis. It will give the quantity at A, and we will draw a perpendicular on y-axis which is give the price of A at point A. Similarly, for B, we draw perpendicular on x-axis and y-axis. So, when we come down on the demand slope, demand curve, the price of the commodity comes down and quantity increases. Right? In another case, what happens is we move upwards on the demand curve. We were at A here, then we move to B here. We will draw perpendicular from A and we will draw perpendicular from B. So, when we move from A to B, there is increase in the price of the commodity and there is decrease in the quantity demanded. Right? So, when there is change in the price of the commodity while other factors are constant, this change in demand is known as change in quantity demanded. Change in quantity demanded. This is known as expansion of demand. This is known as expansion of demand and this is known as contraction of demand. This is known as contraction of demand. Right? This is known as expansion, there is increase in the quantity. This is contraction, there is decrease in the quantity. And both of them together are known as movement along the demand curve. Movement along the demand curve. What is happening in both these cases are we are moving downwards and we are moving upwards on the demand curve, which does not move, it remains stationary. We keep sliding on the demand curve. And as the heading shows, this is known as change in quantity demanded. This is known as change in quantity demanded. And why does it happen? It happens due to change in the price of the commodity, which we have seen is known as price factor. So, this happens due to change in price factor. This happens due to change in price factor, right? So, when there is change in price of the commodity while all other factors remain constant, this is known as change in quantity demanded, and we denote it by these two diagrams, right? Now, in another case, as I had said earlier, price of the commodity remains constant. There is no change in price of the commodity, but there is change in one of the other factors. Like there might be change in related goods, there might be change in income of the consumer, the taste preference or fashion of the consumer might change. So, what happens in that case? Let us see. Again, on x-axis we are showing quantity, on y-axis we are showing price of the commodity. This is the demand curve, and as I said, there is no change in price of the commodity. This is price of the commodity. Like here we are showing demand, quantity demanded and price of the coffee. Here we are showing price of the coffee. But there is no change in price of the coffee. But the price of tea has gone up. But the price of tea has gone up. So what will happen to the demand of the coffee? The demand of the coffee will increase. We have seen that in substitution effect. People will think that why should I pay more for tea? Let us go for coffee. So, how do we show the change in demand of the coffee? If it is here, the demand is here. Demand is here. Now, we are showing the price and quantity of the coffee. Its price remains same, but there is increase in the price of the tea. In that case, quantity demanded of coffee will increase. So, in that case what happens is this demand curve itself shifts. This demand curve itself shifts. Now, it shifts rightward. This is D dash. This is D dash, and the new quantity is here. The quantity increases. In another case, what happens is, here we are showing quantity, here we are showing price. This is the demand curve and this is the price of, let us say, cars. Let us say cars. Now, there is no change in price of the car, but the price of petrol has gone up. The price of the petrol has gone up. What will happen to the demand of the car? It will come down. So, in this case, the shift is leftward or downward. Leftward or downward. Earlier, the quantity was here and now the quantity will decrease. It will work like that. Right? Now, this is when there is increase in the quantity. This is known as increase in demand, and this is known as decrease in demand. Together, they are known as shift of the demand curve. When we compare this to these diagrams, in this diagram, this is known as movement along the demand curve. We go downward, we move upward on the same demand curve, but in this case, what is happening is the demand curve itself is shifting either rightward or leftward, and this is known as change in demand only. This is known as change in demand only. And like here, change in quantity demanded, the heading for this will be change in demand. Change in demand. And why does this happen? This happens due to change in other or shift factors. This happens due to change in other and shift factors. So we need to remember that when there is change in the price of the commodity, it is called change in quantity demanded. Other factors change. When the price of the commodity remains constant, there is change in one of the other factors, then it is known as change in demand. So we must be able to distinguish between increase in demand and expansion of demand, decrease in demand and contraction of demand. When you will look at your book, you will find a table in which they have differentiated expansion of demand and increase in demand. Expansion of demand is due to change in the price of the commodity. Increase in demand is due to change in the one of the other factors. It is known as movement along the demand curve. It is known as shift of the demand curve. Right? This happens due to change in price of the commodity. This happens due to change in other factors. This is known as change in quantity demanded. This is known as change in demand. When you will have a look at that table, things will become clear. You have to differentiate between them on 3 or 4 points, and all those points are listed here only. Right? So today in this video, we saw what is demand, what is individual demand, what is market demand for a particular commodity, since we are talking about macroeconomics only. Then we saw what are the determinants of demand. Then we saw what does the law of demand state. Then we also talked about reasons for downward slope of the demand curve, and then we saw the effect on demand when there is change in price of the commodity while other factors remain constant, and on the other hand we saw what happens when price of the commodity remains constant and there is change in one of the other factors. Right? So I think what we have discussed right now is now crystal clear to you. In our next video, we will be talking about exceptions to law of demand. We will be talking about the classification of goods as normal goods and inferior goods on the basis of the income of the consumer, and we will be talking about price elasticity of demand. We will be talking about the degrees of price elasticity of demand, and we will also discuss the formula which is used for solving the numericals of this chapter. Right? So this much for this session. We will meet in the next session. Thank you.